Guys, yesterday I recorded a video about the Ukrainian refugee Irina who was unalived by some of the madmen in North Carolina during the unprovoked attack on her. This case is so terrible, but legacy media mainly continue to be calm about it, so the information about it shares in the internet. But today we have the comment from Trump himself about it and Trump's family. Guys, they're dancing on the bones of the dead girl to propel their own sick narratives. So here we go with the Trump's post on Truth Social. Guys, bear with me because we need to bust it. I have seen the horrific video of beautiful young Ukrainian refugee who came to America to escape the vicious war in Ukraine and was innocently riding the metro in Charlotte, North Carolina, where she was brutally ambushed by a mentally deranged lunatic. The perpetrator was a well-known career criminal who had been previously arrested and released on cashless bail in January, a total of 14 times. What the hell he was doing riding the train and walking the streets? Criminals like this need to be locked up. So far, the first part of the message is correct, but later on Trump will blame someone, yeah? Then he says the blood of this woman was dripping from the knife, and now her blood is on the hands of Democrats. Who refused to put bad people in jail, including former disgraced governor and wannabe Senator Roy Cooper. So this guy, Donny, speaking about Roy Cooper, he was indeed for the long time the governor of North Carolina, and the current governor is George Stein. I hope I spelled his name correctly. He assumed office 8 months ago, and here's the first Jewish governor of North Carolina. Maybe that's why Donald Trump is not blaming him, just as a variant. But let's continue. North Carolina and every state needs law and order, and only Republicans will deliver it. Additionally, where is the outage from mainstream media on this horrible tragedy? Vote for Michael Whatley for United States Senate. He won't let this happen again. So we see political goals are chased by Donald Trump, and he uses this really tragic event that happened, blaming the opposing party. So it's clearly called the dancing on the bones of the dead people. In this case, it's poor Irina, who is Ukrainian as I am. By the way, North Carolina is not like totally blue or red state. No, the votes are usually split, and during the last elections, most people voted actually for Donald Trump with just slight minority, so everything might change in next elections, for example. So it is some sort of the purple state, which is kind of important for future elections. That's why it's very easy for Donald Trump to speculate about those tragedies which are happening. So then the recent attack on Kyiv by Russia kills this beautiful woman and her few months old baby. Donald Trump and MAGA in general, they're quite fine with it, despite thousands and thousands of the killings Russia does in Ukraine. Trump even meets Putin and stores the photo with him in his table in the Oval Office, and later on shows it to journalists. Look at me, how beautiful Putin really is, my friend, dictator and war criminal. Because actually Donald Trump wants to be the same. So it's totally fine for Donny, it's totally fine for the MAGA community. But if some black insane person does the same to the same Ukrainian people in the United States of America, oh, let's use it to achieve our political goals and blame Democrats. And guys, again, I'm supporting neither Democratic Party nor Republicans. I think in general it's the shit show happening in the United States of America, total idiocracy. We witness it with you live, this tragic comedy. But it is what it is not a bad trip, it is not a nightmare, it is the current life. White House is simply incompetent, double standard narratives elsewhere, they're totally soulless and they're not interested in resolving those issues, like for example with that guy who was arrested freaking 14 of the times. Yeah, it's a huge issue, but for Donny and for MAGA, it's actually profitable for those cases to happen, especially in democratic states, for them to shout out loud, oh, you see, those are crazy bastard Democrats because they rule their states in a wrong way, let's make everything red. Also, this prick, who is apparently Trump's son, made absolutely unhinged statement on X. Well, he wrote this: strangely, all the clowns with the Ukraine flags in their bio are also all silent on this one. So he called me also a clown with Ukrainian flags who is silent, despite me recording already 2 of the videos about the case. despite me posting lots of the information about Irina's death. Here, their strategy is to blame Ukrainians because we are Ukrainians for them. It's like lefties, liberals, at least they want to mark us like that, but in general, they're just afraid of being exposed with our opinion. And most of the Ukrainians, I agree, they don't like Donald Trump and apparently Donald Trump's son. Well, mainly we don't like them because they're just idiots and incompetent people in the ruling of the United States. After all, it's the internal business of the United States. You may elect every clown you want to rule your country. We don't like them because they're freaking weak in external policy and they want to make deals with Putin, our main enemy. Not just for Ukraine, no, but for democracy in the world, for Europe, and also for United States of America. Because without its influence in Europe, United States is just a regional country. And we see how those dictators unite, they try to break the world order that was applied mainly by democratic United States of America, and Donny does nothing about it. Maybe he's even playing on their side, supporting Putin's narratives in many of the cases, or his son, like we see it here. They're anti-Ukrainian, so expect the same in return. And again, they use this tragic case in their own favor to split nation, Democrats, Republicans, to split it even more, raising the racial concerns. So what MAGA does with the United States of America is totally unhinged, guys. And just recall this post, yeah, I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago is up to find out why it's called the Department of War. Lots of the helicopters, they're flying here, they're flying there, some fire, Chicacalypse now. A true reference of war applied on the own city of the United States. Yeah, the situation with the crime in Chicago is not good, yes, as well as in North Carolina. There is definitely a problem in the United States. But again, Donald Trump is using that to provide his own repressions on society, using ICE deporting even legal migrants, as we know, and also military power. Yeah, even some of the Trump supporters do not support that move in Chicago. It will be unconstitutional. And let's go back to the murder of Ukrainian refugee Irina for a moment. Here Donald Trump even spoke about it, so not just the Truth Social post. Let's listen to him for a while. Yeah.
I just give my love and hope to the family of the young woman who was stabbed this morning or last night in Charlotte by a madman, a lunatic. Just got up and started. It's right on the tape. Not really watchable because it's so horrible. But just viciously stabbed. She's just sitting there. So they're evil people. We have to be able to handle that. If we don't handle that, we don't have a country.
It was his speech before that Truth Social post. And here are the double standards, because actually MAGA and Donald Trump, they don't care about Ukrainian refugees. Their status, U4U program of the Ukrainian refugees, was not extended. It has been extended elsewhere, in Europe, in UK, in Canada, in all of the countries with a temporary refugee status. And my family has this status too. And we actually thought, okay, maybe we should go to United States of America. Thank God, guys, we were not so stupid to go there. Otherwise, we could be illegal, so Donald Trump doesn't care really about Ukrainian refugees, and I know what I speak about. I follow some of the content creators, also Ukrainian refugees who are spread around the world, and this guy is filming his family videos from the United States of America, but recently he was forced to leave the United States, because despite promises from Donald Trump, his protection refugee status was not extended. Not just his, but his entire family, and there are thousands of Ukrainian refugees like that, who went to the United States like Irina as a refugee, because they're running, like this guy has a family, a very young kid. He has not just a single child, so it is his personal responsibility of his family. That's why I understand why he left, the same as me, actually. And let's listen what he says here, because he speaks English.
Why we are leaving United States? Let's clarify that. But first, let's see how we come here. We come under the refugee program for 2 years. Nobody promised it's gonna be extended. But technically, a year ago, previous administration said that we could extend 2 years more. But things happen, you see, and we yet no get extension, even if we pay for this $2,100. So, yes, 12 days ago, President said that he will allow Ukrainians to stay in America. But nothing happened. And end of August, we still became illegal. So we have 2 weeks, and it's not enough for a family of 4 to prepare ourselves and move somewhere. So yes, we make a decision to moving. What else we could do? We cannot become illegal. We don't want to violate laws. And that's why we are moving. Because still, nobody do nothing. And we are not forcing or blaming government don't do nothing. They don't have to. We are not citizens. You know, they seriously don't have to take care about Ukrainians. Nobody obligate them. So this is biggest why. And some people misunderstand information thinking that we are allowed to stay. We are not. And that's why we make a decision to leave. It is what it is. But we are still happy. We're ready to go and, you know, just see what life bring us. And same force bring us here to the United States. Looks like now want us to move somewhere else. And we will just accept it and go ahead.
I really like this positive attitude of the head of the Ukrainian family. And you see, like, what guys are going. Like, Ukrainians, they're talented, they know languages, they're very polite, they like to work. But no, United States doesn't want them to stay. I would say not the United States, but MAGA, which is now controlling United States. If you wonder about this family, you may search family from Ukraine on TikTok, for example. They're already safe, they already left the United States of America, they're now in Romania, and they continue to film vlogs in English over there. And from what I understood, baby is the American citizen because she was born in the United States of America. Nevertheless, they had to self-deport from USA. But at the same time, other nations are pretty much okay to go to the United States and ask for asylum or those paroles whatsoever, but Ukrainian refugee program is mostly kaputted, yeah? There are some guys who went right away in 2022, then the war had started, so maybe they could be extended now, but we are not sure really, so it's the huge issue for Ukrainian refugees, which are tens or even hundreds of thousands in the United States, more than 200,000 for sure. And Donald Trump, despite his promises, does absolutely nothing. And yes, it is happening just in the United States of America. The rest of the world, they extend this program for Ukrainian refugees because Russia intensifies the strikes on Ukraine. There are multiple of missiles, they're killing people, literally, civilian infrastructure, military, everything. We don't know how Ukraine may handle the next winter. Just yesterday, Kyiv was attacked. There is the blackout. People stay without electricity. They have small kids. It's crazy what is happening in Ukraine. That's why other nations and other governments, they understand that it's significant. Even freaking Viktor Orban from Hungary extends this status for Ukrainians despite confrontation with the Ukrainian government. Yeah, but no, Donald Trump is something special, right? So then he spoke about the death of Irene, how close it is for his heart and his thoughts with her family. He doesn't give a fuck. As well as he doesn't give a fuck about other Ukrainian refugees in the United States. They want to make all of those people illegal and deport them. In Ukraine, in Salvador, they don't care. Yeah, sorry, maybe I went too emotional about the case, but I speak truth. Oh, by the way, we have one more big scandal with Donny. Bear with me, I'm gonna record one more video about this stuff. See you guys. Stay awesome.